Welcome to the AVICN Conference and Seminar Program 2024. We shall begin our first panel discussion on micro-LED, future of display. This session will attempt to define micro-LEDs and what are the current and future challenges to adoption of micro-LED. To start off the session, I would like to invite our moderator of the session, Abdul, Managing Director, EYTE Technologies, and panelists, Gangasagar, Director, Absen India, Vineet, Mahajan, Director, Unilumin India, Mr. Piow, CEO, AED LED Displays, and Sanket, Director, Xtreme Media Private Limited. Before we start off the session, I would like to introduce our moderator and panelists. Abdul Waheed is the Managing Director at EYTE Technologies, a pioneering force in the Indian AV industry, with accolades including AVIXA, CTS and CTS-I certifications, and a role on AVIXA certification community. Abdul boasts over 2 decades of industry expertise. Gangasagar Amula is a seasoned veteran with 18 years of expertise in the AV industry. As the director of Absen India business, Gangasagar spearheads a dynamic team dedicated to revolutionizing visual experiences. Vineet Mahajan, director Unilumin India, has an extensive experience as a business head in consumer durables and EYTE industry. He is a sales and marketing professional with 20 years of rich experience in professional AV. We also have Mr. Piow, Vice President of AET Displays, who successfully manages 800 plus operation staff to produce over 50 million LEDs per week. He has over 30 years of experience in LED technology. I would also like to introduce Sanket Rambhia, techie by heart, entrepreneur by choice. Mr. Sanket, the visionary managing director and founder of Xtreme Media, has a deep passion for digital display technology. I would now request the panelists to start off the session.
Hello. Good afternoon to all of you, and the moderator, Abdul Waheed, Managing Director for EYTE. I would like to welcome you all and my honored speakers and the panelists for this beautiful discussion, very interesting, about active LED. We call it as micro LED also. So micro LED, the display of the future, or future of the display, both we will be discussing. So it is going to be very interesting discussion because it is an emerging topic in the AV field, and especially pro AV people, they will get to learn many things out of this discussion because our panelists are from our industry. They have been serving our industry for more than 2 or 3 decades. And this subject is something which is very close to my heart and very close to the people on the stage. And I know people who are very much interested, you might have seen shuffling of people in the industry, we have slowly started doing active LED. Not only in outdoor, but even in indoor applications, we have seen a lot of active LEDs which are coming up. So before we start, I would throw my first question to Mr. Gangasagar, who's from Absen, about active LED, what exactly it is, what is this display, and how it is changing the technology trend in video displays.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. I can see a lot of faces here, very old faces, but I'm sure that everybody knows what is active LED. It's a very basic question thrown by Abdul ji to me, but I will tell you what exactly the trend is. The trend is going to be much refined LEDs which are going to come up in future. We were talking about SMD, we were talking about mini LEDs, then micro LEDs, then things will go on and on. People are talking about variables, having active LEDs on variables, that you will be having watches which will be having active LEDs. So that the technology is going to be refined more and more, and you will be seeing more and more active LEDs coming up in future. This is just the beginning. So whatever you are seeing here is just the beginning. So active LED is nothing but a concept where we are having the LEDs which is directly lighting up the colors compared to the LCDs. LCDs were conventional type of technologies where there was a film in front of it and there was a passive LED system which was actually throwing the light. But active LED is changing the entire game. So you can make any canvas, you can have any design, you can make curves, you can do a lot of things with active LEDs. So imagination is a key. So if you imagine something, you can create with active LEDs. So that's what I would say about active LED.
Thank you. We have Mr. Sanket Rambhia with us, representing Xtreme Media. He's the director and founder of Xtreme Media. And I think he might have served more than 2 decades in active LED itself. So I would like to understand from you the history of like what we are seeing as active LED today versus what we are seeing 10 or 15 years back, right from those red and green and blue LEDs. Now we see this colorful thing. So like, you know, I am assuming there are audiences who are not from Pro AV also, some are from live music background. So if you can just throw some light on like, you know, how this field emerged from those days.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. So yeah, as Abdul said, we've all seen active LEDs way back, maybe 20, 30 years back also, but we didn't recognize them as active LED displays. And that time, active LEDs were basically in form of single color, monocolor, tickers, indicator panels. So our parent company, NRG Controls, started manufacturing active LEDs in India since 1990. And Railway, Bombay Stock Exchange, etc. were the primary clients to display information. So it started getting used as a primary source for distributing information primarily in outdoor medium. Indoor LCD or cathode ray, then projection and LCD TVs and now LED TVs remained as a primary source to convey information. In last 8-10 years is when the transition from single color to multicolor, from outdoor to indoor. And today as we speak, we are entering homes. As Ganga said, there are going to be wearables, there are going to be in your car or in multiple applications. Because as we are seeing, the pace of change has just increased year on year. You know, my first LED that I sold was 25 pixel pitch. So today, 25 you will not even, not relevant, right? I mean, people laugh right now, right? Yeah, 0.25 is coming now. So the pace of change has increased because obviously the technology, machinery, the market, and also the affordability of the product has made it possible. So yeah, I think we started from very basic stuff, but now a lot of sexy and more interesting stuff we are doing.
Yeah, thank you, Sanket. As we have seen, like, you know, right from monochrome LEDs, which is 25 pixel pitch, which we even cannot, like, you know, imagine now. So to this industry, the industry becomes more interested and it becomes more attractive when we talk about numbers. So India is emerging market in the world, not only for active LED, but for many other things as well. And we see a lot of companies like, you know, coming to India. So how India market look like, how it is growing. I would like to ask Vineet Mahajan, like, you know, you've been in the industry right from those LCD panel days to this active LED. I would like to ask him the question, like how India market is growing in terms of active LED demands.
Yeah, thank you, Abdul. Thanks for giving me this opportunity, and good afternoon, audience. So the topic of our discussion is active LED, the future of displays. Well, it's a very valid statement that it is the future of display, it's going to be the future of displays. The beauty of this industry lies in the fact, or the beauty of active LED lies in the fact, the kind of versatility and tailor-made solutions it offers, right? So that's the beauty of active LED. And you're right, this industry is moving at a very fast pace, right now there are very, very few businesses which are growing in a double-digit space, right? And active LED is one of them. So if I give you the numbers, globally, the market is $13 billion, okay? And if I have to bifurcate between indoor and outdoor market, so the ratio is 70% indoor and 30% outdoor. And it is growing at a pace of, at a CAGR of 18%. While in India, okay, India hardly contributes less than 1% of the total global market. So it is hardly $100 billion India market. So you can see the potential of Indian market, which is still to be tapped. And in India, that growth rate is 28%. So in the next 3 years, from $13 billion, you're going to see $20 billion touching up globally, right? And you can see the potential of Indian market. Now your next question was, what is fueling the growth, right? So we have seen the market. The market is huge, okay? But what is fueling the growth of this market? I think the most important reason is, the most valid reason is the falling prices of active LED. Now because these active LEDs are reaching the economies of scale, every quarter we see prices tumbling down by 3 to 5%. I'm sure Sanket, Sagar, and Mr. Ko, okay, they will agree to me that 2 years back, any business house owning a pixel pitch 1.5 used to be a luxury. Today it has become a commodity because the prices have come down by almost 50%. So in other ways, this active LED has become affordable. Second reason, the most valid reason is the other display technologies, the limitations of the other display technologies, like LCD, projection systems, and video cubes. We all know there's a limitation with all these technologies, right? For example, LCD. The biggest limitation is that you cannot have the LCD bigger than 98 inches, and in some cases it is 110 inches. What if the customer wants a bigger LED, bigger size of display, or as Sagar mentioned, a different aspect ratio, right? A curved space, a curved LED. So there is no alternative except for active LEDs. So these two reasons, one is the affordability, second is the limitation of the other technologies. This is fueling the growth. Now because of these two reasons, the various applications like advertising industry, control room industry, broadcasting, retail space, corporate, they are getting more and more demand into it. That is the reason, yeah? So I think I covered your...
Thank you. You have also told us like why the adoption is increasing in the market. One is affordability, of course, and second is like the technology that is like, you know, filling the space where other display manufacturers cannot do something great. So I will move on to next panelist, Mr. Su. He is the CEO of EYTE, one of the biggest brand in the globe, where like, you know, they are producing LED, even selling in the market in India. So I would like to ask you, like, you know, what was your experience, like your journey, your company journey towards this, like, you know, why you are into this field and why in India?
Okay, thank you very much. My name is Ko. We are coming from EYTE. Thank you very much for inviting us. It's very honest to be with the leaders of the display, active LED display business in India. So I think, like Vineet said, India is one of the fastest growing display actually in the world, right? I told Sanket the other day, just now actually. I think India is one of the fastest growing, even not in China, all right? So it means basically that with this fastest growing because of the expenditure of the government infrastructures, I think for the next 5 to 10 years, railway station, airplanes or airports, subways, or the other government infrastructures. I think with this kind of basic infrastructures expenditure, you can see that massive investment will be into display, all right? I think that's happened also in China, all right, which is 20, 30 years ago. So it will happen in India. So that's why we are very confident that all this expenditure will continue here. And then that's the reason why we are here. In fact, when we come here, actually our vision is basically to bring in technology to India. I think that we are not, we don't want to be a trading company. We want to bring in know-how. We want to bring in technology. So it means basically that recruiting people, training people, giving them know-how, I think that's very important. I think that one of one of the area that India need is basically how I can improve the technical people, the people in India on the substance of LED display or active LED in India. I think this is something that we are committed to do that. Today we have roughly about 40 over people, and then out of the 40 over people, nearly 20 over people are technical people. And then we send them to overseas for training because we need them to understand more about basic principle of active LED. Things like, for example, chip manufacturing, things like, for example, PCB manufacturing, things like, for example, display assembly, and so on and so forth. So when they come over here, they were able to explain and demonstrate the technology. I think not forgetting that I think we also bring in things like, for example, a basic calibration of a COB product into India. I think we want to do that so that we have more substance in India. So this is a commitment that we have in India. So I believe that with this kind of bringing in technology, we hope that we get more people to understand this business. I mean, that's important. I mean, together with a colleague, I think believe that we can bring India on active LED to the next level. I think that's very important. Thank you.
Thank you. I would like to ask Sanket, like Vineet ji has told us, like the market is very big and the growth rate is 30% compared to like 18% you said overall global growth is 18%, whereas India's growth that we can expect from LED market is 30% CAGR. So I would like to ask Sanket, like, you know, how much are we prepared to grab this opportunity? How our players in the market, distributors, OEMs and integrators, now Pro AV, if I talk about the AVSIs, of course they want to jump into this market, but what are the challenges or how much they are prepared for this?
So there are two segments in India market. One is the organized segment and then one is an unorganized segment. Both are growing very rapidly. As the leaders or one of the pioneers of this display industry in India, it's our job to navigate the industry in the right format because more unorganized means more non-standardized products. It becomes a game of attrition, of price, of quality deterioration, and then overall the customer experience suffers because of that, and at the end of the day everybody loses because customer had a bad experience and now he doesn't want to buy LED anymore. So it's our job as a leaders to navigate the market in the right direction. That are some of the challenges that you asked in your question. What are the challenges that I face? The most important challenge I face is to educate the customer to make the right decision, and quality, service, price, all three needs to be looked at and not just the price, which is typically been our mindset and culture. So that's the challenge. I think the opportunities are great. I think all from the system integrator side, OEM side, technical side, as a market, we are very well placed. I think we have the right minds, focusing, doing the right job. We have the product line, like anywhere else in the world. Co can validate the products that are available in India market are similar in quality, in technology advancement to anywhere in the world. Yes, the market has to mature to be able to take the right decisions so that we have a sustainable growth and not a blip or a spike.
Thank you. Quality, service and price, the main three key factors that is like, to be taken care and taken seriously for this market growth. I would like to come back to Gangasagar. Vineet ji has mentioned like there are, like, if you divide the demands, it is like 30% outdoor market and 70% indoor. So what are these applications you look at? Like, what are the areas where this active LED can go?
Hello. So basically the active LED segment, we can divide into 5 segments. Okay, one is we can say Pro AV segment. Second is the rental segment because a lot of rental companies have come here to see what kind of products we can buy at Palm Expo. Third segment is the retail market. The retail market is also growing a lot where they want to display something in the store itself and they want to grow in that particular segment. The partners are different in that. Fourth segment is the outdoor segment, which even Vineet was mentioning about. It's growing very rapidly. And the fifth segment is virtual production. So slowly we are also catching up pace in virtual production, and I would say that we are the one who are communicating very well in this particular market, telling them what exactly they need, because this is a totally different subject altogether. But considering Bollywood as a content maker, I mean, after Hollywood, it's a Bollywood which is making huge amount of content, and we need to educate those DOPs and those market to understand that what this particular technologies can bring to the table. And we are honored to develop few of these studios in India. So these are the 5 segment where everywhere the business is happening broadly, and every particular sector has different challenges, and there are different way of working in this particular segment. So I'm sure that everybody is working on those particular aspect, and trying to deliver the result, right optimum result in front of the customer. So that's the main segments we are working on.
Okay. Vineet ji has also said, like, good point that in your explanation, we have got many questions. So you said, like, there are areas in technology which other video display technology cannot reach. And active LED is, like, slowly and in fact, it is very rapidly replacing them. So Gangasagar has highlighted few of those things like AR, VR, and studios and in movies. So what are those key elements that active LED has as a technology that other video displays or LCDs or cubes or video walls cannot fill? So Mr. Ko, question to you.
Yeah. So if you look at overall LED application, there are basically in the world today there are two school of thoughts. All right. One school of thought is saying that we need to go to lesser pixel pitch. All right. So it means basically that I'm going to go 0.9, 0.6, 0.7, 0.4, 0.3, and so on and so forth. That's a thought of lesser pixel pitch. All right. Everybody is trying to do that. The other thought actually is that if you think about LED display, it's not about pixel pitch alone. It is about flexibility. So I can make it flexible. I can make it, like for example, the today technology, active metric technology, where you do a LED with a driver together. So basically, you do active metric and can you do a flexible. So in other words, you see that some company or some technology came out where you do glass display, for example. Like for example, in automotive, that you see automotive display, where because in the future, autonomous drivers will have nothing to do but need to look at something. So in the other words, you need to look at your glass. In the other words, all these are possible with active display. So you can basically see this application into the new area, where you think about LED display is about flexibility, of course it's about brightness and so on. So if you compare the old technology like LCDs or plasmas or DLP, of course you are looking at seamless technology, higher brightness, live, right? And then of course eventually you go into the small pixel pitch. Overall, I think that if you look at the display, so means basically that there are a lot of advantages. And I always say that until today, there's no other technology are able to replace LED technology at the moment. For example, if you look at plasmas, LCDs, and all these technology are replaceable from DLP up to today LCD, and you know OLED. And OLED are fighting with MicroLED. So in other words, you look at LED technology since 30 years when I was already in the business. So you see that there's no new technology. So in other words, this technology are still continue. So I always say to my colleague, next 20 years, you still continue with LED technology. There's no problem. So in other words, these are something that I'm very passionate about because I've been started since 1992. So I'm still doing it. So I find that the audience, basically, they don't worry about this technology. This technology is still moving, and there are a lot of new applications coming out. I mentioned about just now, because of that particular two school of thoughts. So I find that eventually LED will be something that everybody can see everywhere, even in your bedroom, right? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. So we are having these glimpses, like, how the market is evolving, what kind of market share we are talking about. So again, moving to Mr. Vineet Mahajan, asking him the question, like, again, coming back to India, there are a lot of, like, I will talk about this section of the exhibition. There we have live AV people. Of course, there is a lot of rental business which is coming to LED, but Pro AV side, a lot of LCD players, OLEDs. How do you see their future? People are jumping to this side, what areas they are covering. We are seeing LED, you said 70% is indoor requirement. So maybe auditoriums, meeting rooms, boardrooms. So how do you see this market evolving in Pro AV segment?
See, as Mr. Ko said, okay, the biggest challenge with the LCD manufacturers is the size. And plus, you need to have a seamless display, which only LEDs can offer. That is the only reason all the LCD manufacturers, they're shifting from LCD towards LED. And I'm not sure how many of you are aware that the production of LCD panels, LCD video walls, has been stopped around 15 months back. So there is no new production happening. Okay? Why? Because there's a transition from LCD video wall to LED video wall. This is point number one. Point number two, if I just throw a blank question over to the audience, do you know what is the pixel pitch of a normal television which you see in your home or in your homes? Okay, I tell you, the pixel pitch which you normally see in your LCD television, that means a gap between one pixel to the other pixel, is 0.8 mm. Okay? Now we have LED displays, okay, with the pixel pitch of 0.6 mm, right? 0.4 and 0.5. So that means the resolution is getting better and better. The sizes are getting bigger and bigger. Plus you have a versatility in the form of curved displays, in the various aspect ratios. On the contrary, LCDs, they normally have an aspect ratio of 16:9 or 3:4, correct? But in LEDs, you can have any desired aspect ratio as per the client needs and desires. So basically, LED is something wherein you can have a tailor-made solution for every customer, for every requirement, and for every application.
Okay, thank you. So I'm moving to Sanket. He's also from, he's in the industry for many years. So technology-wise, some of the key factors like it is scalable, seamless, the pixel pitch is going down day by day. What other developments are taking place? Like we moved from SMD to COB, what next? Pixel pitch is going down. How about colors, brightness, and other applications?
So pixel pitch is just one of the things that is improving, but if you look at any other form of display versus LED, LED has evolved the most I've seen. LCD were 10 years back versus LCD today. Yes, it has become 4K. Yes, it has become HDR. But if you look at two displays next to each other, they will look almost similar. But LED has transformed. So technology is fueling that change dramatically. So COB chip on board is one of the newer technologies. Flip chip is a new technology. Power saving is become a new mantra. So something like common cathode is standard now for most outdoor and indoor applications. Obviously, it has a sustainability angle, but also because of power, you reduce the heat, you can increase the brightness, you overall increase the life of the product. And there are improvements in refresh rate, bit rate, HDR10, and all of those. So color gamut is increasing, your brightnesses are increasing, your power consumption is going down, pixel pitch is going down, newer technologies like common COB and flip chip, where their complete manufacturing process is reimagined, is also adding to the pace of change in technology for LED display.
Mr. Ko, you would like to add some more points, like in terms of features?
I think, put it this way, I think we need to look at the customer's perspective, because what customer really want. I think it is not about getting smaller, because getting smaller means more expensive. All right? So of course I can produce a 0.6 millimeter, but can you buy a 0.6 millimeter with 20,000 US per square meters? I think nobody can buy. So what I mean basically that what is the benefit of the customers in display? So I think that what we are trying to do is basically, can I make something which is easy for customer to use? I think what we are trying to do is, because if you look at the LED display from the chips level down to the processing level, they are basically the whole channel from the chip up to the SMT, up to the assembly, up to the processing, and so on and so forth. So how can I integrate all these things together so that I can make it easier for my customer to use? I think that's the most important. So it means basically you're not only look at the display board itself, which is you're looking at COB. Why COB? Because you're taking out the packaging technology, taking out those white package, and then put the chip onto the PCB. That's why you're taking out something, which is you make it simple. And then beside that, can I do some more? All right, there you talk about display architecture. It means basically today you have a board which is a power supply, you have receiving cards, you have PCBs. Can I integrate this together? So you have in the market, you call 3-in-1 hub boards. All right, so can I think some more? Can I take out all the driver and make it one driver at the board, at the back of the PCB boards? So if you look at the back of PCB board, you can make 20 or even 30 different driver. And you got horizontal driver, you got vertical driver. Can I all this combine together become one driver? All right, then you make again integration. Then overall, can I bag a receiving card and sending board combined together? So that's what we do with our so-called integration of receiving card and sending boxes. So if you look at the overall integration, you actually can integrate everything together, make our customers easy to install. So I always say that the best is, my vision is the best is I don't have any cabinets. That's the best, because cabinet is useless for customers. Customers don't need cabinet, only customers need a display to see, not a back structure. We have back structure just to support the front. So this is something that I think we need to, as a manufacturer, need to do is to integrate all these things together, make the value to the client to make sure they're easy to install and fulfill the need of the display. That's all. I think that's what I say.
Mr. Ko, how about artificial intelligence? Is some role being
All right.
played there?
Okay, we are now in the display industry. Okay, we are not in the software industry, all right? Because I always say we actually combine with IoT or even 5G. 5G is giving you a transmission speeds in the business, all right? And basically AI is giving you additional features so that it can do something on your display. So display is still a display. You cannot do anything except you make use of display to do some other function. Again, we the benefit to the client. I think end of the day, I always say we need to think about what actually the client need. If a client need a 2.5 millimeter, don't force him to do 1.2 millimeter. I think that's what we're thinking. All right, so that's what I think. Yeah, thank you.
When you spoke about auto-driven cars, I was thinking about like Indian roads. We are having Tesla, and like driver has nothing to do but to look outside, and then like we have a lot of outdoor LEDs there. Okay, if you come by this Western Express Highway, I once counted it is more than 35 between Santa Cruz to Goregaon. So you can imagine the size of business we are talking about. So question to you, Gangasagar, are there any challenges like, having outdoor displays, outdoor signages? Yes, it is different than indoor. So what are the major challenges there when we are selecting any product or any brand for Active LED? What are the key elements that we should look at while going for outdoor display signages?
So we installed the first outdoor in 2009 in India, and that time we were talking about P16. Today we are talking about P4, we are talking about P2.5, though resolution is going on the higher side. When you talk about the active LEDs on the outdoor side, as a OEM, we also feel that there is too much of saturation which is happening on the street. And even the advertisers are not able to understand how to use this. I normally talk to a lot of advertising agencies and I tell them this is not a static board. Okay, so normally when you talk to advertising guys, they used to use this kind of boards for static advertising. So they used to put white and they used to put the logo. So there is a lot of white content is going in the digital display, which is not good. So basically, as Absen, we understand that when we talk about the active LEDs in outdoor, we need to understand that we should give a warm light. So we always communicate to our partners as well as the advertisers, use a warm light, not the blue light. So if you see many of the outdoors in Mumbai itself, they are having logos of the advertiser with a white background, and they are throwing a blue content. It's not white, it's actually blue, which is going in the eyes, and it is actually not good for the people around. So we always communicate to them that you have to use a right product. which can actually give you that kind of warmness. Even if you're putting the white content, it should not spoil the, the eyes of the public. But India is India, okay? So nobody understands it very well, that how exactly we need to address. So that's the role of the OEM, where we need to communicate to the partners, also the customers, that this is somewhere we need to take a cautionary step and tell them that you should not use the white background so much, and you should have a dynamic content. Apart from that, we also talk about power saving. What is the power saving factor we can introduce in these LEDs, because the power is one of the major factor in outdoor, because the screen is very big, and when the screen is very big, it is consuming a lot of power, and especially in India, the power fluctuation is huge. We normally communicate to our partners that use some kind of a centralized voltage stabilizer, or maybe it can actually bring down the fluctuation, or also the harmonics. Harmonics is something like we are facing it at each and every outdoor segment, where the power is coming with a lot of harmonics in between. And when there is a harmonics and putting the LEDs on, and they have burned their hands, it was giving them big electricity bills, and it was dangerous, and it was not having that kind of, seamlessness. There were a lot of issues coming there, and therefore, when we started talking to the customers, educating them, we found some success there. And this is how we are doing it in India.
Very recently, we had this tragic, unfortunate incident in Ghatkopar when the
so that
is nothing to do.
That
with
is
us,
nothing to do with the
I'm
digital.
going to ask Sanket, when we go for outdoor, of course, the structure design is also sometimes client put in our scope, and you have been doing this job for quite a long time. I would like to understand from you, what kind of key factors we should count in, when we are designing outdoor signage for someone.
So safety, of course, is the most important factor that one should look at. And safety of not just the people around, but safety of the people who are going to be servicing the LED itself also. So we see a lot of these billboards that are built right now are built for static, and the same one is then converted to a digital. Although it was fine for some painter or a flex person who was changing the flex to climb up those risky structures, but I do not allow any of my engineers to climb up on those structures if it's not safe, or you can't put your harness and put the safety belt, because the structure sizes are so big that you can't, there's no way to attach a safety belt to that this thing. So the safety is the one most important thing that one must look at. The power consumption, because we need to be sustainable. Obviously, you will incur a higher electricity bill if it's not power friendly. The right amount of brightness also, because if it's too bright, so what happens is, once you put up an outdoor LED, and if you run it for the entire day on the same brightness, then it's going to be too dull in the daytime and too bright in the nighttime. So you need to be variable in your brightness.
Daylight sensors and those things.
Yeah, unfortunately, sensors in India don't work because we have a lot of dust. Sensors will work only if there is no dust or bird poop falling on the glass of the sensor, and light should come in for the sensor to sense what is the brightness outside. If the layer of dust accumulates on the sensor, nobody's going to go there weekly basis to clean it. So there needs to be a software-driven approach to tackling the brightness. Yeah. Only the rain god can clean the sensors. So the brightness is one that they should look at. The content also, as Ganga said, we should need to be more warm, more vibrant, and not to the blue content is going to hurt the viewer. And I think the other factor, last factor, is regulatory framework and the standardization. The regulatory framework should not be so loose that anybody can put anything, or it shouldn't be so harsh that nobody can put anything. So it needs to be a stable regulatory framework. Which are compliances, which are in black and white, and people have to go through those steps.
Yeah, I understand. For these many years, RTO and BMCs were not giving permission because these billboards distract the attention of the driver. So I would like to ask Vineet ji, like, what other factors you see
I
for
would just
outdoor?
like to add what Sanket just now narrated. Okay, when we talk of the safety of the installation of these LEDs, the framework, the back frame, the construction of that frame or that fabrication of the frame is very, very important, and factoring in two very key important facts. At what height the LED display is to be installed, and second, what is the wind speed. And point number 3, whether the wind speed is coming from north and west direction, I mean all the 4 directions, 3 directions, or what, right? If there, Mumbai is an area where you can have several, very severe wind pressure, right? Normally, when we design any active LED, it will not automatically fall down, right? Unless and until it is being prompt into. So if you have a storm, if you have a severe wind pressure, then the chances are there. So that particular, both of these factors has to be factored in before designing the fabrication of the frame. So I was just trying to add onto it.
Okay.
You had another question, right? Yeah.
Yeah, same thing I would like to ask, like, there are a lot of safety measures and care to be taken during installation. So I would like to understand from you all are representing manufacturer companies. So why is that, like, what kind of training we have to impart? I come from Pro AV and like I speak on their behalf. Like, still I have seen all the OEMs offering installation by themselves. Not by, for example, if any other OEM, they train you for the installation. Whereas what we have seen in Active LED, it is you take the responsibility of installation. Why is that? What are the challenges? How we can, like, train the people?
I tell you why. See, this Active LED is a solution-centric product. Unlike LCDs, which is a box moving, right? And still, India is just a tip of the iceberg. As I think one of my friends said, that awareness is the biggest problem in India as of now. Because we do not have so many installations in India. As Sagar mentioned, people just go with the price per square feet. That is not the determinant of an Active LED. There are so many factors. What kind of back cabinets are there? What kind of power supplies are there? What is the brightness? What is the contrast? Okay, so all these factors has to be there while choosing an Active LED. So, I'm sorry, I just forgot your question. I'm so sorry, I just
why,
diverted.
like, in terms of installation, why it is OEM only takes the responsibility?
Yeah.
And training
So
integrators.
since the awareness is on the lower side, so initially we have to handhold our partners, okay? We take proper training sessions, give them certifications, how to do the installation. So one is the outdoor LEDs, okay, which I just narrated. Second, the mission critical LED walls like control rooms, broadcasting, where every alignment has to be pixel by pixel, plus the software has to match every pixel by pixel. Then only you get a proper picture quality. So initially, we handhold our partners, okay? Then we give them the training. As Mr. Ko also said, we take them through China or we take them to our factory to give them a proper training, how to do the installation, how to do the troubleshooting, how to do the software upgrades, how to do the firmware upgrades. That's how this technology is evolving. Yeah.
Mr. Ko, about one of the factors that Sanket has mentioned is the power consumption and the heat generated, okay? So what I've learned is, like, old days incandescent lights, those things were like, 1% of light and 90% of it was getting wasted into heat. Whereas when it comes to LED, it is 50-50 still. Like 50%, whatever energy is given as input, 50% of that is converted into light, 50% into heat. So heat is a major challenge, especially when we go for indoor. Outdoor is okay, like, still you get air or ventilation and those things are not issues. But when we go inside the boardroom or inside an auditorium, inside a training room, or you're sitting close to this thing. So how we are addressing this challenge?
Okay, as a manufacturer, I think that there are many ways that we can overcome this. I think you start from the efficiency of the particular chips, right? Because the original heat are coming, of course, from the chips. So it means basically there are two levels. Number one is the power, I use the word efficiency of the chip, means we call it milliwatt per watt. In the other words, some of the chips are only 200 milliwatt per watt. Some of them have 500 milliwatt per watt. And then the size of the chips. In other words, because of the cost, everybody trying to minimize or optimize, I use the word optimize, those particular areas. So you see that today, some of the screens are hot, some of the screens are okay. So in other words, what we need to do is basically look into a little bit details of the particular products. All right, so you saw some of the product which is, you touch it, it's very hot. So in other words, the first portion will be the chips level. All right, of course, the next portion is the driver level. All right, how you basically plan or how you basically draw the electronics on the back of the PCB. So one of the common thing that people use is the common cathode driver. All right, common cathode driver compared to common anode driver, there will be a saving of nearly 20 to 30% in terms of power consumption. That means, in other words, when you touch a common cathode, display, you feel that maybe only about 25 to 30 degrees. All right, but you touch a common anode driver, then you touch, maybe you get 35 to sometimes even 40, which is over-exaggerated, but it's about 35 to 40 degrees. So that's how you work in the particular two main portion. Of course, the thickness of the PCB also is also important. And then if you go in detail, then you talk about the bandwidth or the drawing of the PCB board. Then how thick is the power line, how thick is the signal line, and these are all minor things that add up to be making the heat of the particular display. All right, even though outdoor is not critical, but outdoor is critical because today you look at Delhi temperature, 46 degrees. And then if in normal plastic back shelf, putting on a 46 degree, you get melt on at the plastic back shelf. Right, because when you run on 46 environmental temperature, you get at least 75 or 70 to 75, sometimes 65 to 75, I use the word, on the particular panel temperature, which is basically come to your plastic material going to melt. And then these are the things that happen when you, especially outdoor. So some of the outdoor are using aluminum back shelf, which is you heat are generating out from all your drivers and so on. So you at least you cool down your basic screen. So that's important for not only indoor, it's also for outdoor. Because I find that, I initially thought that India is not critical, but if I look at 46 degree in temperature, it's very similar to the one in Dubai and even in Saudi. So I think that's also critical.
It is still going worse. It is because
Yeah,
of the
so you can imagine that outdoor screen become very important in terms of heat dissipation. So that's what I mean, yeah.
Very related to this is directly proportional is power consumption. It is directly proportional to this. So power consumption is also a major challenge where, of course we can make it as big as we want, but then power consumption is also goes as high as the sizes goes up. So especially when we are talking about facade LEDs or those things, how are we addressing those power consumption challenges? One of the project where I was working, I calculated the facade power consumption. It was more than the entire building demand. So only for LED. So that the owner got into a fix how to solve this.
Hello. Yeah, exactly. So many points has been touched by Ko, and if you talk about outdoor perspective, okay, so outdoor the power and the heat dissipation is very important and very critical. So it boils down to how we're going to design this particular cabinets. So when we talk about the outdoor, we ensure that the cabinets are designed in such a way that it dissipates the heat from backside. It has an airframe design. It's a double jagger design of Absen. So we put a lot of thought behind this particular displays before we make any kind of high brightness, high, high size displays. So this particular displays need to dissipate heat in a bit. So therefore we talk about not only the power consumption, as Sanket mentioned that we are using a common anode and trying to save little power for the end user, but this is the requirement of future. We need to be thinking about sustainability. So at Absen, we are also thinking about Absen green technologies, where how we can reduce this particular power consumption, how we can increase the power factor of the driver itself. Nobody talks about it. How are we going to make the encapsulation of the LEDs better so that the heat dissipation is much better. So there are a lot of factors which does not fall in this specification. Nobody talks about it. Everybody talks about what is the pixel pitch, what is the brightness, what is the contrast, that's it, and what is the price. But there are a lot of parameters which are included in the LED displays which nobody touches base upon. So I just given an example of this particular customer. One customer came to us and he said that I want to brighten up my entire building. And when we thought about doing it, the power consumption was so high that he had to drop this particular idea. Then we thought about what exactly they want to achieve. So then we said that why don't we use mesh LEDs? Why don't we use DIP technologies where we can actually reduce the power consumption to maybe around 100 watts or so. So 1 year back, we were talking about the power in indoor, we were talking about 600 watts per square meter. Now it is coming down little bit every month and month. So whenever we are trying to produce new products, we are ensuring that the power consumption is low. And not only that, we are also trying to decrease the circuit so that we can actually enhance the refinedness in terms of power as well as also the heat dissipation.
Next, moving on, I would like to ask Sanket about content, because like we can make any shape, any size. That is the beauty of this product, this technology. But how about content? Like are we helping our clients from this angle also? Is India market, do we have those kind of content creators readily available, is easily doable, or sometimes maybe the cost is more than the cost of installations?
No, so content is very important. I think all three, software, hardware, content, they all need to be looked at. Hardware we've spoken a lot on hardware already. There is equally important aspect of software, where, what is the customer application, how can we provide integrated software that is useful for that particular application. And obviously the content, a lot of content, anamorphic content is in vogue right now. One thing that I'll always tell my customers that, look at it as a different medium. This is not paper, this is not television. So what will run on your television commercials, you can't just play the same ads or same content on LED. This is not a same print advertisement, you can't put it on the billboard. So you need to create, I'm specifically talking about the outdoor application where the standard aspect ratios are not there. If it's a standard aspect ratio 16:9, you can play a television content. And also you need to look at the attention span of the viewer. So in a television, the attention, when you're watching an IPL, you don't mind watching a 2-minute ad. But when you're crossing in a car, your attention span is 10 seconds. So in that 10 seconds, what message you want to communicate needs to be very specially curated and designed for the medium, for the audience. So attention span needs to be factored in, the aspect ratio needs to be factored in, the brightness and the colors, that how they look on LED needs to be factored in. And always something new, something 3D, anamorphic will always catch the attention of the viewer. So something innovative needs to be always brought to the customer so that it doesn't become outdated. That's the good thing about LED displays, that it's a medium. You can keep, at a click of a button, you can change the content overnight.
Okay. So it is content, the hardware, and the in-between link is software you were talking about. Mr. Ko, you want to add something on the software part, like how it is important and what consideration we have to do while designing or integrating video walls?
All right. Today, basically software, today on the display hardware perspective, is basically a firmware. It is not actually a real software. All right. When you talk about real software, means basically how it is to use. You think like, for example, eventually we're going to have remote control to just control the screen, not using sophisticated kind of computers and so on. I think that's something that we should vision it. So in other words, if I put a screen at home, then I can just using the remote control to do it. I think that's something that we need to look into. Of course, today, what we are trying to do is basically that, if you look at our portfolio, we have a product which is basically the integrated product, which is a 55-inch receiving and the sending are combined together using HMI. So what we are trying to do, basically, eventually, what we want the customer to say is that the software are like your computer app, where you basically just to adjust the brightness as well as some other basic function, that's all. So I think the software development should go towards this direction. So today, of course, we do our own software as well, but we do many of firmware, all right, which is basically engineering software, I use the word, where technicians are doing it. It's not the user are doing it. I hope that eventually the user is a software that actually for user, but not for engineers, right? So we already set up everything in the factory, and then it's like an LCD video wall where we just develop the software for the user. I think that's all. It's like today, the all-in-one product, right? So this is something, but it's a big screen. So we hope that eventually that should be the software direction we go, which is actually we are doing anyway.
Okay. So a lot of all-in-one products are coming in from all the manufacturers. You would like to add something on this?
Hello. So I was just wondering because this generation is totally different now because I just given an example. It's just a metaphor. Okay. So my daughter a few days back she wanted to have a photo on her T-shirt of horse drinking water in the snow, and she went on Google Gemini and she just said that this is what I want, and she got the picture. So this is what the world is going on. So the generative AI is going to play an important role, and the collaboration with this kind of what you say intelligence is the need of the hour, and that's what we are doing it. We are collaborating with a lot of AI softwares and trying to do some kind of a magic for the customers, because this is what activity is a display again. So display is a display is a display. We say that, but this display needs to have some kind of intelligence, and therefore we need some kind of a collaborative efforts with this kind of engines in future. It is already happening in VFX domain, where we are talking about studios, where we are using Unreal engines. You can actually change the background in a swift of a second. That if the director don't want that particular asset, digital asset in this, what do you say, the background, he can immediately go into the background and change it. So that kind of flexibility is already there, and I'm seeing that this kind of requirements are coming in, and the customers are demanding this kind of things, and it's only the future will decide that the OEMs have to bend down and get into this kind of a race where we have to combine the display technology with the software so that we can give a better experience to the customer.
Vineet, this experience of integrated one all-in-one and operating the LED with remote. So that brings me to the question wherein I've seen one of the launches where you have shown the LEDs for home theaters. Okay. So what are what is their challenges, or maybe what is our offering for home segment?
I think before the home segment, I would like to touch upon the all-in-ones.
Okay.
What exactly is all-in-one basically? All-in-one is just a glorified version of a television. Okay. Now it is specifically meant for enterprise segment, like corporates, like wherein the application is meeting rooms, training rooms, or seminar rooms. Now, if you go to a corporate person, right, if you explain them the difference between a LED or LCD, half of the time his mind is occupied that the LCD which he uses at his home is a LED, right? They do not understand that's not a LED television, that's a LCD television with a backlight of LED, right? For that segment, we have introduced all-in-ones. Now, what is all-in-one? All-in-one is a single monolithic unit, okay, which comes in a bigger sizes of 135 inches, 165 inches, 173 inches, wherein the controller and processor is built in. So it acts like a television, right? So you do not require a separate box like you require in a normal LED. Point number one. Point number two, you can operate with a remote, okay? It comes with a multifunction remote. So it comes with a GUI interface, right? Point number three, all these enterprise segments, they would like to have a built-in quad view, okay, to have multiple contents running in, like a video conferencing setup, right? So these all-in-ones comes with a built-in quad view. So these are the basic offerings which Unilumin gives in their all-in-ones. Now coming on to your second question, what do we have for the home segment? Yes, I think Mr. Ko was telling us, okay, LEDs will rule our houses very soon. Currently, this technology is very expensive when it comes to the home segment, because in the home segment, the pixel pitches which are used are 0.9 pixel pitch, 0.7 or 0.6 pixel pitch. These are very, very expensive as of now. But as this technology reaches the economies of scale, I'm sure in the next 2 years, this will become very affordable. Now, what is there in the offering? Why we have a specialized LED in the home segment? One, we have a bigger size that replaces the projection technology. You do not have to switch off the lights like you have to do in the projection technology. Point number two, you have a contrast ratio of 30,000:1, which no other technology offers. Plus nowadays, these LEDs for the home segment are coming with the temperature control systems, wherein the temperature of the LED will not go beyond your body temperature. So I think one of us raised the concern that it generates the heat. It will automatically generate the heat in the room and it will increase the air conditioner bill. So now with this advanced technology, as Mr. Ko mentioned, okay, it is at the chip level, right, at the driver level. So now we have LEDs, okay, which are specifically meant for the home segment, wherein the temperature can be controlled. It will not go beyond it. Yeah. And the beauty of this LED is that you can have any size. Earlier, we can only think of projection technology, okay, wherein you have a screen size of 150 inches or 180 inches. I think me and Sagar Amula have been in this industry for the last 10 years. I think you were there with me, 10 years, right? Where we used to sell the projectors for the home cinema. But the biggest challenge was you had to switch off the lights. Then you have a ready reckoning of the projector lamps. You have to change the projector lamps every 6 months. But with LED technology, it's very easy to maintain, very easy to repair, then very, very color soothing, very high contrast ratio, and you can have a tailor-made solution as per your wall size. So it becomes a canvas, actually. Yeah? Okay.
Yeah, I know, I remember that. Like with the introduction of 86 and 98-inch LCD displays, the clients slowly started removing the projection from their VC rooms and board rooms because large size, 98 size was available. Even some manufacturers offer 110. But with active LED coming in, I have seen even like the projectors last space was auditorium and training room. From there also they are getting removed. So kind of a disruptive technology. So moving forward, like, one more area which is very special and very critical is mission critical operation centers, NOC and SOC rooms. So we used to use the DLP cubes or micro LEDs or the video wall made by LCD panels. Sanket, I would like to ask you, like, how active LED, why it is replacing those older technology, and what are the additional features that active LED is offering to these kind of operations?
So one simple reason to replace them is the bezel. So whether you use rear projection cube or LCD video wall, you will always have the bezel that will disrupt the seamless view for the user. Also, the color matching. So if you have one panel which goes bad, and they've been selling LCD video walls.
We are the one who said LCD LEDs were the LEDs technology, and therefore we are communicating back to the audience and the customers that they were not LEDs, okay? They were LCD LEDs, okay?
Correcting yourself.
Yeah, you're having to eat your words, but yeah, that's how the technology, what it makes you do. So yeah, there is no bezel. The color uniformity is much better. More importantly, you need power backup, power redundancy, data redundancy. All that is possible so that you get the 24/7 uptime, which is for mission critical applications. Another same thing, aspect ratio. So it's not limited to the multiples of LCD video wall sizes or the panel sizes or the cube sizes. You can make it as per the room itself. We've just done one installation of command control where it's a curved LED because the whole space is in a circular manner, so that everybody gets an equal view of all the sides. All those flexibility, redundancy, no bezel, color uniformity adds to the appeal of LED. And also now, screen sharing and all of those ability to zoom into one content or divide one screen into multiple parts, and all of that has evolved because of video processing also has evolved to the level. Also, people talk about 4K screens. I want 6x6 4K panel each. So if you multiply, that becomes like 40K or plus resolution. You don't have any content feeding that. You don't have the backend feeding that. You don't have the cables that are enabled to feed that kind of content. So higher resolution that you get with LCD video wall or rear projection cube is anyways not useful for you. So active LED is becoming or taking up. If you look at international, he will be international market, China. All knock rooms or command controls are basically having active LED. In India, because of few friends of ours who are copy pasting the same RFP which has been floated for 10, 20 years, we still have rear projection cube ruling the command control market.
Okay, so we have covered in detail, all the aspects of active LED. Before we take up the questions from the audiences, one last message is from you, how do you see this active LED industry for next 5-10 years? Your advice to the audiences, starting from Mr. Ko.
As I said before, today there's no technology that able to replace LED technology. All right. So in other words, it's very exciting. All right. I've been in this industry for the last 32 years. I think I will continue for next 20 to 30 years. All right. So you can imagine this industry is very exciting, and because of the application, I think today topic micro LED, because the micro LED come on board, that means it make a lot of things possible. Think like, for example, eventually your watches. Think like, for example, you throw away your mobile phone, next time you only use these glasses. All right? Think like, for example, when you go into the car, you're not driving it, you're only watching movies in the car. And there are many, many other applications which coming into active LED. So in other words, there are a lot of new applications coming. So my advice to the audience is stick to this industry, don't change. Because this is a very exciting industry, and then you'll be awarded, be frank, you'll be awarded, especially now in India. I told all my guys, you'll be awarded with this industry if you continue with this industry. That's what I'm saying. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Vineet?
I think Mr. Ko is giving me a shiver. Okay, he's going to stay in this industry for next 30 years. Although he's only 20 years old right now. Okay, I think I will echo my voice as was Mr. Ko said. This industry is going to stay for next many, many years to come. And it's just a start of the journey, let me tell you. Okay, now currently we have SMDs, tomorrow we will have, currently we are investing in COBs, okay, and then we have micro LEDs or mini LEDs. See, the technology will keep on evolving. But the fact is the basic ingredient is LED, whether it's a display or a light, it will keep on continuing. So this industry is going to stay, and as the topic of this session is the future of display, so LED will always be a future of display. Yeah.
Thank you. Sanket?
So to the customers, my advice would be that look at the problem that you're trying to solve rather than the hardware that you need. So example, for the billboard industry, they are trying to solve, increase the revenue for themselves, and that will happen only if you have the uptime. So, what is required for that uptime, you need to look at that rather than the hardware that you need. For boardroom, you need collaboration and ease of use. So then choose the hardware and the software and everything else around that, rather than just looking at one particular domain of the problem statement and trying to solve that. Look at the macro level and try to look at what all do I need to have to solve this problem of mine. And more often than not, you will arrive at LED if you do that.
Do you mean even the integrators and the people who are providing these services need education?
Yeah. I mean, in the sense, example like all-in-one and so many other advancement through. So we work as a company a lot on the software side as well, and we try to solve the customer problem from the software angle as well, because nobody wants to use third-party media processors or video processors or control systems and etc. Because earlier boardrooms, if you need a dedicated person conducting the meeting. In the COVID, we decided that it shouldn't be like that. It should be, as everybody understood, it should be like a click of a button, and anybody should be able to do that. So you develop a solution which obviously involves your hardware that enables the customer to go on a meeting at a click of a button without having anything in the rack and the cabling and the switching, because as soon as you do that, it will work if there is a professional operating it, but as soon as the layman will come, they will struggle. So it should be, I tell my developers that my mom should be able to operate, then it's a go.
Okay, thank you. Gangasagar, any message from you to the audiences and to the industry about the active LED, the future of display?
I feel that the standards have been made very clear in active LEDs. It's only the purpose to be met. We need to give the right education to the system integrators, also the customers, and therefore at Absen we believe in educating the engineers on the field. We are conducting a certified engineers program. It's a globally recognized program. We are conducting in India. We just had one session this week, and we're going to continue doing this. And whoever wanted to learn something about active LED, please do approach Absen sales managers, and I'm sure that they will give you a time slot. You need to book it, and it's a proper 3 days program. And in this particular program, you will not only learn about active LEDs, you will also understand how to implement these solutions. Because product is a product, but when it comes to installation, the product changes its face. So if you have a better installation, if you have a better knowledge about how to implement it, if you have a better knowledge of what to use in that particular application, I think you have made your halfway done, okay, when you talk to the customers. So we are conducting this kind of programs. Please do approach Absen, and I'm sure that you will be definitely benefited by this kind of course. It is something similar to CTS. We call it CTS in AV industry. ACE is a globally recognized program, and we are conducting. We will be conducting many programs in this particular year, various regions. So please enroll for this kind of programs.
Thank you. So before we move for Thanksgiving ceremony, I would like to open this session for the audiences. We have heard about like the details about active LED, the future of display, about the product, about the hardware, about the software, the application. Now this may have raised some questions in your mind. So I am opening this session for you guys. You can come up, ask any question. I would like volunteers to pass on the microphone to them to ask the question. We have the industry leader from the LED. These all are the MDs and CEOs of manufacturers, and like being in the industry for more than 30 years. If I
Abdul is just flattering, okay? Don't believe that, okay?
He's trying to prove that he's young.
Nice, I mean, it looks young. Yeah, so basically, I come from so I am Alok Mukase. I come from a background of consumer durable, and what we used to do in the consumer durable is that, okay, any product, you know, if it is made for some other market, right, it comes to India, but it gets, like, let's say for tropicalized, or, you know, it gets made differently for India, right, because all are the OEMs, and, you know, you know that, okay, we are at the tip of the iceberg, and there's a huge market to be captured. So what you OEMs are doing to make this product India fit? Like, you know, I don't want to see a product which is, you know, working in China or Dubai, right? What is happening region-wise? Because every region in India is different, and, you know, right? It caters, like, you know, you roam around India and you know it's the global, right, environment. So what is happening in the LED industry that, okay, we are doing, okay, this for India.
Should I?
Okay, so your question is like what are we doing to for India market? Indianize the product.
So there are two ways of looking to this particular solution, okay? So I completely understand this kind of concept being built in the minds of the people, because even automobiles, when we talk about Skoda making it in India, and when you go to Germany and you see Skoda, oh my God, this is different Skoda. What I'm using in India is different, okay? So this is kind of a feeling which has in the minds of the people that whatever it is coming to India is a very cost-effective and a cheaper product. But at Absen, we believe strongly in quality. I will be only talking about Absen today, and telling you that what we believe and what kind of systems we are trying to build. So whatever we, globally, we standardize a particular product. And we know that in India, there are some kind of standardization required, because the environment in India is little different compared to the global market. But when we compare the Asian markets behaving in the same way, the kind of environment they have, the kind of requirement they have, it is almost similar. So what we are doing is, we are actually standardizing on the product. So whatever you see in European countries, same kind of products you will see in India. So for example, when we talk about when you come to a booth, when you see a PL series or NT series, it's the same series which is getting sold in US and European markets, and same product is getting sold in India. We are maintaining the same standard, so that we want to communicate very well to the minds of the people that we are not compromising on the quality. We want to work and give a kind of a feeling that we are the trusted LED supplier. That's what the tagline of Absen says. So we want to maintain that. And that is the motto, and that is why we are present in India compared to what we have as a product line. But why we want to be present in India is to give that kind of sense of feeling that we are not changing any kind of a parameter when it comes to India.
Sanket ji has started Make in India things, so would like to ask.
Yeah,
the
so
same
I
question.
think our products naturally, because being an Indian company, were India first products, right? So they were designed as per Indian conditions. So Indian conditions are very different. The dust that we have is nowhere. In outdoor, we have a problem of rodents, cockroaches. So how do you make sure that there are no lures or any holes in your display so that these cockroaches or rodents can enter and eat into the circuitry? So we removed all the lures, all the moving parts, fans. We were the first one actually 5 years back. We made a fanless outdoor solution. Now it's standard, but 5 years back it was rocket science. Because you have to fundamentally, as soon as you remove lures and fans, you have to go to the thermal heat dissipation, you have to look at, all your choices change. You have to use different lamps, you have to use different PCB thickness, you have to use track sizes which are bigger so that you have to use common cathode by compulsion. Now people say common cathode, I've been using it because I removed my fan. Because there were rodents entering the display. So we were a design in India first company to begin with. In retail, we had to re-engineer the product because the retailers told us this is not a green field, it's a revamp of a store which is micro. So I can't give you structures. So you need to put your LED on a ply. So how do you eliminate the structures so that you can put on so all those.
Any customizations you guys have done?
Yes,
starting from the
I think it's a very valid question that you asked. And the Indian market has 3 challenges. The first one is the price disparity is very high. So some people say that India is a very price-sensitive country. I will totally disagree. Yes, there is a certain strata of the customers which is very price-sensitive. But then there are certain customers which requires the best of the best. So that's why I say the price disparity is very high in India. So we need to have a tailor-made or customized products for both of these segments, right? Now coming on to the price-sensitive market, yes, we have derivative models, okay? But at the same time, we make sure that the quality control standards are up to date, okay? There should not be any lag behind, okay? And Unilumin stands for the quality all across the industry. Then we have special products for the rich people, or maybe for the higher strata of the market, okay, which requires different standards. The second problem or the second challenge in India is dust, moisture, and third one, extreme temperature. If you talk of north, west, south, and east, okay, every region of the country has extreme or different temperatures.
Is it reaching 50 now?
Yeah, it is reaching 50 in Delhi right now, right? And if you talk of the coastal areas, the humidity level is
More than 80, 90%.
90% plus. So you need to have a tailor-made solution. You need to have a different product for example, a different product for installation at a saline environment, like Mumbai. If you talk of the Rajasthan, where you do not have any humidity, but the temperature is very high, it goes up to 56 degree or 57 degree. You need to have a separate set of product which will last in that particular heat. So we have a tailor-made solution. We have a tailor-made customized products, okay, which can cater to all these needs, apart from the price disparity that we all have in the Indian market. I think I answered your query.
Mr.
Right?
Ko?
Yeah.
I must say that we have still a lot of things to learn. I believe that EYTE have been in India for some time. I think there's still a lot of things to learn here. I admire Sanket that already been so long in India that he already implemented a lot 5 years ago. So what we are trying to do is we want this product to make in India. We want to design in India. So actually, what I'm trying to do is I'm upgrading all my engineers eventually to be a design engineers. All right. The product in India must be designed by the people in India. Maybe these design people must coming from the south, north, east, and west, and even from the very north. So they understand local culture and local needs. So that's what we are trying to do. So I think that if you ask me whether did I did a lot for India product, I think I don't really did a lot. But I have basic principle in product, quality, reliability, and so on. These are basic principle. Pricing, these are basic principle anywhere in the world. But for me to do really in India, I think there are a room for improvement. But I'm committed to making sure that whatever design that I have in India must be designed by India people, so that they really understand what is environment in India. For example, in Noida have a lot of, what do you call it? There are chemicals there where all the film industry are having a lot of problems, all right? Like what temperature in Delhi, for example. Where these are the things that, of course, we already designed something, right? Already there. But I think there are a lot of improvement you need to do. I agree that localization is my words. I use the word localization. It means everything needs to be localized. That means I will be eventually having certificates, local certificates for local products. Regardless where, it's not about BIS. BIS is just one of them, right? Everybody got a BIS. But I think that it is more than BIS. That's what I'm thinking. So that's why I think that, I admit that today, I set 576 by 576, which is 2 feet by 2 feet, which is a feet rather than a square, when a millimeter. Other than that, we do a standard what we are doing today. But I'm not stopping here. I think that we are continue improving, and then continue improving, making sure that we have the vision of localization. That's what I can say.
Thank you.
Right.
Any other question? Yeah, this would be the last question for the session. Yeah.
This is not a question, but this is really a suggestion for, like you are all from directors, and you can basically have a platform for small integrators or system integrators like us, like where you can have an influence, or you can create a group for setting a standard for each and everything, like for things like structure integration, like such structural integrity reports, like what we have to provide to when we are installing outdoor LEDs. Okay, so we have to provide structure integrity reports, like we have to provide standards. So you can basically have a platform where you can set some standards, and we can look at that standards and we can provide it to the customers. So so it is my suggestion that you can create a basic organization where, and you set standards accordingly, where it is much more easier for us and for the government to look and follow those standards and have a uniform, uniform platform for it. So we can have less disparity, and we can have a good growth in each and every segment.
Yeah, I think it's a great suggestion. It's been on my mind, and I've been discussing with few of my friends to have an organization or an association for active LED manufacturers, OEM, or such people who are associated with active LED. I think it will help the industry overall. It will standardize a lot of things, and it will bring some framework around which the industry should operate. I think it's high time. I think a lot of us are already there, been there for a long time. I think it will come sooner than later. Somebody has to take out time from their busy schedules of selling products and making an association, but I think it should be done sooner than later.
Or maybe like, some people who organize these kind of event, Mr. Chopra is here, who brings all of us on a single platform, can take this kind of initiative, like where we form an association to standardize, because LED is huge market, and right now, like, there are no common standards in tender. Sometimes we do bloodbath, we fight with each other, but if there are common standards, common understanding, and as you said, like, some customization for Indian market, so that will, like, give some standards to India. And of course, Mr. Chopra has taken the initiative of CABS with the intent, like, there are different building standards for India, different, so there should be the different AV standards also for India, considering in the Indian environment and conditions. So that is one of the initiatives that every year AVICNX conducts 3 days CABS program, which is customized for Indian institute. So Mr. Chopra has taken this initiative. So I would request, like, you can also note this point from one of our friends. Thank you, sir. Thank you. So with this, I would like to thank all the participants and the panelists who has spent, spared more than 1.5 hours here with you and sharing their experiences about technology. They have educated us, and I wish all of them best of luck for their career and future. And thank you very much to all of you. Over to you.
Thank you so much, sir, for the wonderful session. And I would request Mr. Anil Chopra, sir, to give away a token of appreciation. Can we have Anil Chopra, sir, on stage, please? Audience, please give a huge round of applause for all our panelists.
Be sure that we'll be strong enough. It's tough. I wanna say that. Can you take any pressure?